think I've met most folks here, but I'm Nick Redding. I'm the Executive Director of Preservation Maryland. And we're so excited to be here today, not only to celebrate the future rehabilitation of this building, which we hope will be an anchor for the community, like a lot of historically rehabbed structures become, but we're also excited to talk about the future of the State Historic Tax Credit Program and the great support that we have from our friends here in District 46, which we joke is one of the most historic districts in the state. And it's bared out this year in the fact that 50% of all the state historic tax credits that went out this year were awarded to projects here in District 46, which is a huge testament to not only the historical nature of the district, but also testament to the need here in the district. And we're going to be talking about that and hearing about that. But Maryland provides $9 million a year in funding for state historic tax credits, like the tax credits that are going to make this project possible. And that pales in comparison to a lot of our states around the nation. Virginia, just to our south, is doing $100 million a year of these kind of tax credits. And we feel as an organization that we can do better, and fortunately we have some legislators and a lot of other members of the General Assembly who agree with us. And so in the upcoming session we're going to be working on that, hearing from our friends here in District 46 in particular about that. But we want to thank the developer here, Mark Shapiro, for hosting us in this building. Thank you for turning on the heat. And really just a cool structure in the sense that this is a building that was once housed the I.C. Isaacson Company clothing company, built by a son of an immigrant to Baltimore, and sort of one of these Baltimore success stories. The building no longer is serving that purpose, but it's exciting in the sense that it's going to have the ability to serve a new purpose and a new role in helping to build Baltimore of the 21st century like it built Baltimore of the 20th century. And so it's great to also have the new anchor tenant and the president of Barcoding, Inc., Jay Steinmetz, with us today too, and we're going to hear from Jay. So without further ado, I want to hand it over to Bill to just hear a little bit about the tax credit program and what he's working on with us in the upcoming session.
Great. Thank you, Nick, and good afternoon. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you today. Look, this is really exciting. I think where we are today is a story of what Baltimore can be. What we know is we have this incredible history that is rich and deep with commerce and communities and neighborhoods and culture. But we know a lot of these buildings and the infrastructure behind them have become dilapidated and somewhat run down over time. The challenge that we face is that building new structures often is a lot cheaper than trying to rehab these old buildings that we have that have so much meaning and history. And so programs like the Historic Tax Credit, these are the tools, these sort of innovative ideas that bring the private sector and the public sector together to take new, old buildings and bring new ideas. These are no-brainer policies. They create jobs, they restore neighborhoods, they build community. In this very building in Highlandtown, we can look around and see a number of buildings that could use serious renovation. We are very fortunate in the city to have folks like Jay at Barcoding, who not only have an innovative, thoughtful company that is leading the future of technology, but they're saying, how can we reuse old space in an innovative way to build a neighborhood? And that's what's happening. It's for that reason that I look forward this session to putting forth two pieces of legislation. The first is one that would take this discretionary program that has been roughly around $9 million in recent years and would increase that investment to $15 million. What we know is that the public sector involvement has a multiplier effect on the private investment. So that $15 million in tax credits can lead to tens of millions of dollars of private dollars that are invested to turn around old buildings. The second piece of legislation would make the tax credit a little bit easier to use. Right now, there are a number of restrictions on how and what can benefit from the tax credit program. Specifically, we want to ensure that we can invest appropriately in affordable housing in the city of Baltimore. Right now, it's very difficult to use Maryland's historic tax credit to take our old structures and build affordable housing. This legislative change would be a policy fix that would make it just a little bit easier so that the folks who live in Baltimore, who deserve fair and great housing, can benefit from these redevelopment projects within the city of Baltimore. So with that, I have the pleasure of handing it over to my colleague in the 46th District, who has been a champion for all the historic tax credit program, but also preservation efforts across the city, Delegate Brooke Lierman.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jay. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much, Mark Shapiro, for taking a chance on this property. We're excited to see it come about. And you know, I think what Bill said is so true. It's so important that we continue to work to build on the historic tax credit, because it is credited right now with rehabilitating about 4,400 historic buildings and creating some 25,000 jobs since its implementation in 1996. $350 million has been invested in the program in every Maryland jurisdiction since it started. And the impact of these tax credits on neighborhoods goes well beyond the rehabilitation of the building itself. It's also beneficial for the local economies, for small businesses, for schools. So we have several community leaders in attendance today, and they're representing, you know, the Southeast CDC, their civic life, our small businesses, our Main Street program here in Highlandtown. So I think that just underscores the broader community impact that these historic tax credits can bring. You know, we are also so blessed here in the 46th District and excited to announce that half of the projects that were awarded historic property tax credits for 2018 fall within our district, District 46. And these projects range from allowing local businesses like Barcoding to continue expanding here in Baltimore, creating new headquarters and a job training facility for Casa de Maryland, which we're so excited about, and increasing density through mixed-use developments downtown and in the peninsula. So this year, a total of $9 million in tax credits will be awarded to leverage projects that will create an estimated 650 jobs. Over $5 million of those awards are being invested here in District 46. That's 3840 Bank Street, here where we are right now, the old Baltimore Theater for Casa de Maryland's new headquarters and job training facility, the Alex Brown building downtown, actually across the street from where I work when I'm not in session. So very excited to see that become an incredible restaurant. And then Union Brothers Furniture Company, which will be an incredible mixed-use retail and office space coming to the Sharp-Leadenhall neighborhood. So we're going to continue to work to lay the groundwork for equitable development that improves conditions and creates opportunity here in Maryland. And with Preservation Maryland, with CEOs like Jay and developers like Mark Shapiro, we're excited to see the future of the historic tax credit continue and hopefully grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
So happy to have Jay Steinmetz here today of Barcoding Inc.
I also want to bring up Mark Shapiro as well to say a few words with Jay when Jay's done.
Nick, Bill, Brooke, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, I've lived and worked and started my company here in Baltimore. I have worked in my own business. This is our 20th anniversary. We actually have all 130 employees here this week, actually today. I left there to be here we're going to be celebrating and discussing. You know, it's our objective to continue to invest in the city. We appreciate the opportunity that Preservation Maryland brings to us. It is not easy. It's not easy to run a business. You know, when we bought this building, it's based upon me leasing it for 10 years. And in the technology world, 10 years is a lifetime. So a commitment by us over 10 years is probably, I hope I don't go to regret it. I can tell you that.
You won't.
It's gonna be great.
We are going to need the help of not just the community, but, you know, the people who run the state to understand that, you know, providing discounts to build an equitable foundation for my business is only one part of a multi-legged, you know, system of support. And by that I mean businesses have to be in an ecosystem that allows them to survive. So I'm hoping that this is just the beginning, and we're going to continue to invest and make it easier for companies like us to stick around, because it's expensive to live in Baltimore. It's expensive to work in Baltimore. The taxes are high, and I can walk across the border and get some pretty good deals on interest. Not to get into that stuff, but I'm going to tell you, I'm fully vested, and I have been vested and I'm committed to see things happen because I know Baltimore's a great place. So I appreciate the opportunity, and we're going to continue to double down. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mark, why don't you come on up? Mark Shapiro, the developer of the project.
Thank you. I still have my hat and coat on, even though it's a balmy 31 degrees outside. I just checked. But I very excited about this project. My company and others have been doing rehab projects like this for a long time. So I want to acknowledge Jay just spoke, who's also not only the tenant with Barcoding, also one of the partners in the building, and my other partner, Michael Burton, who is also the architect, who couldn't be here today. So we just want to thank everyone that supported us in this effort with the tax credit, the 46 legislative delegation, the mayor's office, Brandon Scott, the city council person for this district, the MPA supported us, Southeast Community Association, Chris Pryor group supported us. So it was just an overwhelming outpouring of support for this project, because it is a great project to restore a building like this and bring life to it with Jay's company. And the original owner of the building was I.C. Isaacs, and they started out in business making clothing for the horse industry, for people riding horses. So I'd like to say they made britches, so I'd like to say we're going from britches to barcodes. With what was made before, but will be made in the building in the future. So we're excited. We're going to start in the spring and get going. It's going to be a wonderful project. We're going to bring a lot of energy to the site and hopefully spur some more activity in the area with like-minded companies. So with that, I'm going to introduce Sharon Ahn, who works for Urban Design Group, the architect, and she'll just say a word or two.
Hi, my name is Sharon Ahn. I'm one of the project architects. I'm representing Urban Design Group. We're based in Fells Point, and we are super excited for this project. From the very get-go, we know this is a very beautiful building with a lot of historical significance. If you take a look at the windows later on, you'll see how much daylighting is going to come in. There's a clear story that will be exposed, and there's a lot of important architectural elements from the 20s that we will work very hard to restore. And so we're all just very excited to work with Barcoding and continue with Mark to just revive this project and just to really help with just a growing historical district of Highlandtown. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to wrap up. Thank everyone for joining us today, and sincerely thank the legislators here from District 46, Delegate Lierman and Senator Ferguson. Preservation without good policy is basically just good intention. And so it's fantastic to have the legislative support that we need. And for those advocates watching us live on Facebook, I would also mention that Preservation Maryland is going to be hosting a Preservation Advocacy Day on February 1st. It's also going to be a big day for the American Institute of Architects, and the Maryland Historical Trust is also going to be hosting their awards that evening. So there are many different reasons to come to Annapolis that day, and I can assure you Annapolis in February is just as beautiful as Baltimore in January. And so we hope that you can join us that day, because obviously we have two great supporters here in District 46, and we want to make supporters of every other member of the General Assembly. And the only way we can do that is by having constituents come and meet with them. And so it's a really rewarding day, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to get this legislation through that Senator Ferguson mentioned. So thank you all for joining us today, and thank you to our friends in District 46.
Thank you. Thank you.